That's a fucking knee slapper right there, boys. Yeah. You see that? Do you see Milan Lucic going to Calgary? I do. Ooh, ooh. Man, this has been a awesome offseason. I think the best offseason the Edmonton Oilers would have. I mean, the past couple off seasons have been terrible. Last off season, we got fucking Brodziak and Tobias Ryder to horrible contracts. I mean, Tobias Ryder wasn't that bad. It was a bet, and he just didn't turn out to be very good. You have Kyle Brodziak, who is horrible, and we still have him for another year, which sucks because we have to pay him $2 million for not even playing probably on the roster. And we have had Chiarelli sign Russell, stuff like that. Holland's coming in. He signed some nice depth pieces, and he traded away one of the most impossible contracts to get out. One of the most impossible contracts to even buy out. His buyout is, for the first year, if we were to buy him out right now, 3.6, and then it goes to 5, and it goes back down to 4, and then it goes up to 5. How in the hell are you supposed to buy out that type of contract when you're saving like a mil to 500? Like, that's nowhere near. You're not saving anything for Milan Lucic. It's fucking impossible. And I don't know how Chiarelli did this to make it so fucked up to where you put a no movement clause and you put it on such a hard contract to buy out. It was so stupid. And no one wanted Lucic. Not even the Vancouver Canucks, who he wanted to go play with. And first of all, Vancouver wanted Lucic in that free agency. That's why we went all in on Lucic. I remember the day that we signed Lucic, it was the worst contract ever. But, man, I was falling in love with Lucic right off the get-go. I'm like, man, this guy's going to be a great player for McDavid. He's going to play great, and he didn't. I mean, I knew the contract length was too much, but, I mean, if he won you a cup, then why would you be complaining about it, right? Like, Tampa Bay doesn't really complain about their contract with Ryan Callahan, right? You just don't complain about something like that. You just savor it. But something with James Neal, it's just something out of the ordinary. James Neal, I mean, he had another bad contract too, 5.75. We had to retain a bit of Milan Lucic's contract at 2.250, so we're only missing out on about 500 grand. But if we buy out James Neal next year, if he doesn't play good for us, which I'm going to get into more about James Neal and what he'll do for the team, because he's going to be a big-time player. And I like to talk about both sides of this deal, because for the Edmonton Oilers, this is the best deal we could possibly make to save cap, right? Next year, we're getting Gagne off the books. We're getting a bunch of players off the books next year. And then if James Neal does not perform, he doesn't get the 20 goals, he's not that big performer that we need him to be, buy him out, and then you get 1.9. That's all you have to pay him, and you get $3 million back. And you could go all in on free agency, right? Just in Gagne and Neal, you get $6 million. And the rest of the other players, you get back Manning. You get a pretty good amount of money coming towards next year, which is awesome. And then the year after that, you get Russell and stuff like that. Holland's going in for the long term right now. I'm liking the way that he's looking. He's looking at defense first. Get Broberg, Bouchard, who are going to be your two big defensemen. You have Klefbom and Larson still in there to be kind of like your capsules of that team. This team is still very good. We're really seeing this team come together. Forward-wise, we're seeing from the ground up what Holland is doing to build what Chiarelli fucked up so bad on, was building the offensive core properly and trying to build a defensive core properly as well. He's really just changing the way that this team works, and I'm loving the way that he's doing it. He's taking his time with it, and I'm hoping he takes his time with the prospects as well, with Yamamoto and Bouchard and stuff like that. Dave Tippett, very great coach. I'm really excited to see what he could do with James Neal, as he played with James Neal. Well, didn't play, but he coached him when he was in Dallas. His rookie campaign, he had 20 goals. So maybe we could see James Neal perform really good alongside of McDavid, and maybe he can get back up to those 20 goals and be worth that $5.25 or $750 million, right? Even if he doesn't get to that point, buy him out, 1.9. It's not that bad. It's a great idea. I love the philosophy. I'm actually feeling better about being an Oilers fan. After a really slow offseason, probably one of our better offseasons where we didn't see any ridiculous trades, we're actually seeing the development with this team. Even if we were to buy out James Neal right now and go after somebody that's better than him, I wouldn't mind doing that either. Because right now, I'm feeling very good about being an Oilers fan, and I'm feeling an uprising. I'm feeling something changing with this team. I'm feeling a culture change. A lot of people, they're still kind of optimistic about Peter Holland. He's making changes to make this team better. I'm really excited to see what he could do next with this team. But right now, I'm going to sign off. I'm fucking excited that we got Milan Lucic off the team to Calgary. Have fun, Calgary. I've been seeing lots of rage from the Calgary fans about them being very pissed off about picking up Milan Lucic. And finally, the tides have turned, and I'm feeling very good about it, that we are the ones not freaking out about a trade. We're actually the ones who are actually happy about having a trade being done. And actually, one of the most devastating words we're ever like to hear, it's 1-for-1. It's now 1-for-1, and it's actually a good trade for the Edmonton Oilers. But thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys all in the next video. Adios, amigos.